The most important economic challenge facing Canada these days is the trade dispute with the US. Our leaders' first task is to find common ground with the Trump administration to save what can be saved from the North American Free Trade Agreement. Even before talking to Mr. Trump, Carney said yesterday that we have reached a point of no return, that the old relationship with the US is over. It may be true. We will see in the near future, but nothing has been set in a stone. Regardless of what we think of President Trump's decisions and strategy, this relationship is too important for Canada to let it deteriorate completely without doing everything we can do to get it back on track. That is why I said we should avoid imposing retaliatory tariffs, which only add new taxes to Canadians themselves, but will not have a major impact on the American economy. The US economy is 12 times larger than ours and depends much less on trade with us, which we depend on. We shoot ourselves in the foot with tariffs. We cannot win a trade war with the US. That is why I have been saying for weeks now that we need to put everything on the table and immediately renegotiate the free trade agreement. And put everything on the table also means supply management in the areas of milk, poultry, and eggs, one of the main points of this agreement raised by President Trump and his trade secretary. As you can see, I'm in front of the head office of the UPA, the Quebec Union of Agricultural Producers, here in Saint-Hyacinthe. The UPA has been described as a state within a state because of its power and influence. Supply management is costly and inefficient system, setting prices and charging Canadians twice as much as they should for dairy products. It is also a system that prevents producers from innovating and exporting because our market is closed to imports. We cannot sacrifice the rest of the Canadian economy to save this bad system that benefits a small, influential lobby group. It should have been abolished long time ago. Pierre Poilievre confirmed again this week that he was going to protect the supply management system and that Canada has successfully signed several free trade agreements with other countries while protecting that system. This is just not true. One of the most important agreements we could have signed with the UK failed last year because of supply management. And even though we managed to sign an agreement with Trump in 2018, this time it's obvious that the situation has completely changed. The next negotiation will be very different. Poilievre, like Carney, will be unable to sign a deal with President Trump if he does not put supply management on the table. The politicians of this country, the establishment politicians, lie to the producers, Canadians, and by telling them that they can always be able to protect that system. And they are lying to Canadians by telling them that supply management is very good for them, when on the contrary, it makes them poorer. and it negatively impacts other sectors of our economy by preventing better free trade agreements. It is time for real reforms. It is time to abolish the supply management system in the interest of consumers, dairy producers, and the entire Canadian economy.